All right, wanted to talk about the different Baofeng Multipin radios. In my previous video, I talked about my radio setup with the headset and the push-to-talk and everything. And the A58 is the one that I was using in there. And I still use this radio. This radio, from time to time, it seems hasn't become available. So other ones have popped up and a lot of people ask questions about them. And I was curious myself. What I did is I got the different ones in so I could compare them myself. And figured I would share the results with you since so many people have asked. 4 radios that we got here. That's the BF A58. It's the GT3 WP. UV9R. This is the Plus model. I wasn't able to get just a regular UV9R. It's probably no different at all. They probably revised something very minor. And this is the BF 9700. Respectively, the prices at the time I made of this video, searching on Amazon, $39.99 for the A58. $31.99 for the GT3 WP, $37.99 for the UV9R, and $29.99 for the BF 9700. There's not a whole lot actually different with these radios with exception to this one, and I'm sure you could already tell why. Button layout is slightly different, colors, things like that are a little bit different, but it seems like the firmware, with exception to this one again, on the inside of all these radios is the same. Now, the rating as per the specs for power output is 5 watts, 5 watts, 8 watts, and 8 watts. Realistically, when I tested it on a couple different things, basically got 4 watts across the board, which is sort of what you expect to get. They're kind of lying to you with these. There's a lot of bad marketing like that. For example, there are some models out there that claim that this UV9R Plus pushes like 15 watts, 20 watts, 25 watts. That's all full of crap. There's no difference. That's just some Chinese seller hoping to rip someone off who is just looking for pure wattage. On small radios like this, your power output really doesn't matter either. It's just the quality of the antenna and you're limited by line of sight. I got 4 watts, 4.2, 4, and 4.4. These 3 will work with Chirp, and Chirp is the freeware radio programming software. This one uses a program called WP970. I think that's a software made by Baofeng, and it will work with other radios, but Chirp is not compatible with this, at least that I know of yet. That software is not very intuitive whatsoever. I found it challenging to use. I'm no expert with radios and stuff, but I really didn't like it. It's not as user-friendly as Chirp. You can program all of these with getting a quality, genuine Baofeng USB to the multi-pin programming cable. The plus to this is if you're trying to get a couple people together for whatever your purpose is to use these radios, this one is much more simple. For example, if you're familiar with changing a channel on these, you got to unlock the keypad and then scroll through the channels, and this is pretty simple. When it's on,
welcome 6.
It tells you what channel it's on right when you turn it on, and then as you change this knob,
7, 8.
It tells you the different channels that you're on. So that makes it easy to use. One thing I did realize with that little knob on there though, and it could have just been a freak thing, but I had gotten on the ground and was kind of low crawling with my gear, and all of a sudden my headset started saying numbers to me. And what it was is there's no real way to secure this knob, so if something knocks it, it might change the channel. Good thing about it is though, is it's announcing the channel to you, so that way you do know it changed and you could change it back. This radio actually had the most power. I don't really care too much about that. Even though this radio doesn't have a keypad in the front, which can be advantageous because I've also had with these, for example, say you're laying on the ground and your pouch pushes the unlock button, all of a sudden it unlocks. So it's kind of a trade-off if you like the simplicity. This might do a good job for you. And if you can figure out how to program it. But there are ways, like in example, you go through the menus and change the squelch and all that sort of stuff. You can do that with this. If you look in the manual, it's like hold PTT and this bottom button for 3 seconds, or hold PTT, turn the volume on. It does like a couple other things to be able to do the same functions that are on these. It's just not as easy to do. As far as compatibility with the batteries on these, even though they're all extremely similar, if you look at them, they're not all cross compatible. The notches up here are slightly different on all these. I have no idea why Baofeng did that. That was stupid on their part. Like, you can get some of these batteries to latch in to other radios, but they don't hold in there securely. They might get stuck a little bit, real hard to take out. So that's one thing that kind of sucks is, you know, say if you have this one and your buddy has this one, you know, you're not going to be able to swap batteries, even though if you look at them as far as spec wise, like the wattage and stuff, they're good. One mention with this UV9R Plus is it claims on the battery that it's a 2800 milliamp battery. That's full of crap. This thing is like 1800 like the other ones. It's just some of that poor marketing I was talking about, where they're trying to make it look better than it is so that they sell more of them. Wanted to mention, as far as with what comes in the box, they all come with their typical stuff. They come with the charger, a regular screw and antenna, all that stuff. But what comes that I wanted to mention extra is on the GT3WP, the charger also comes with a cigarette lighter or a 12 volt socket adapter. So you can plug it into 12 volt and charge, which is cool. That's a nice little bonus with the radio. So that way you could charge it in a vehicle or something like that. The UV9R comes with two antennas. You can see at the bottom, like this one is only up to 400 something megahertz and this one goes up to 5. I don't know why. I mean, generally most people don't keep these antennas anyway, but wanted to mention that to you. Slight difference I did notice, and I actually like it the best on the GT3WP, is the little, I guess you'd call it, rib that protects the volume key from the side. It's the tallest on this to keep it from getting turned from the side by mistake. I like the idea of having the stuff protected so when it's in a pouch, things don't start getting turned and whatever by mistake. I like that. I also noticed that I believe this one has the loudest speaker.
Channel mode. Channel mode. Channel mode. Welcome. 8.
So this one's also the loudest in case you don't have a headset and you need something to be loud. All of these radios are compatible with the SkyEye Tactical push-to-talk. They all have the multi-pin on the side and they will work. So if you saw my other video about the whole headset setup, that same push-to-talk is going to work with these radios. They all have the port on the side for the multi-pin. As far as like build quality on these goes, they're all pretty decent. I found that, I don't know why this UV9R Plus, it just feels slightly more cheaper. Actually, when I'd first gotten it too, the little lever at the bottom for the battery, I went to go put the battery on and then take it off to put it on the charger. Just wanted to make sure it worked. And I took out the box and that lever got stuck and then just popped off. It was easy to fix. I mean, they feel robust. If you see at the bottom here, the GT3WP and UV9R, they got, when you remove the battery, they have this little slot at the bottom that comes with a piece of paper and you could like put a marking on it to mark whose radio is who, but these basically just fall right out as soon as you replace the battery. So, I mean, good little idea, I guess, for keeping inventory, but if you really wanted to keep some sort of inventory, just like I did with some paint pen, just mark on the side of the radio. If I had the choice between these 4 radios right now, and I was kind of buying to start either just one for myself or to get some for other people that I'm going to be talking with, probably go with this one. It's the best value for price wise. It feels really robust. It comes with the 12 volt charger. It's probably the best option. I'm not going to switch all my stuff from the A58. It works for my purpose and it's still good. I would stay away from the UV9R Plus. I don't like the mismarketing. It's not labeled. It's claiming incorrect things. They're not being honest about it. And yeah, and then maybe if you need something that's more simple for everybody to use, they don't get confused, this isn't a bad option. It does good power. The only thing is you're gonna have to spend some time learning how to program it, but basically once you program it to your channels, it'll be good. So hopefully this was helpful for you. I'm gonna post links to all this stuff in the description. So if you decide you want to get one of these for yourself, you can.